So, uh, you're gonna need to, like, just bear with me on this one. It's gonna be a bit of a ride. Faces of Jane was directed by Alex Tokacs, Julian Acosta, Jillian Jacobs, Gia Capello, Vin Jung, and a ton of other directors, and it stars Jillian Jacobs. And here, Jane is a lady who lives a pretty average life. She decides to let her child go to camp for a little while. And while she's alone, she decides to live out her life adventures, but goes on a very surreal and otherworldly road trip in which she will make discoveries about herself and other versions that she's never had. This movie is insane to begin with. That's the first thing I want to say. This movie is extremely mind-screwing. Like, if you watch this movie, I think you're going to have to take a little time to just kind of lock in and stay focused. This is not a movie to go to the bathroom on and leave. You know, it's pretty rigorous, to say the least. And because of that, it's going to take a little bit of me trying to explain it, because I had to see this movie twice to truly fully grasp everything. And in some ways, I think that is a compliment. In other ways, I think it's a detriment. To start with, I want to start with Jillian Jacobs' performance. She's pretty good in here. I think she hits the beats of just being natural pretty well. When she's trying to be an everyday person, it's fantastic. But I think sometimes when she's trying to do different versions and she's trying to, just kind of get out there and do bigger things with her range in this movie that she has to, it can come across as a little bit wooden and a little bit prepped. It feels rehearsed a little bit. And I think that's an issue I have with this whole movie. This movie is supposed to kind of be this spontaneous adventure she's thrust into, but a lot of it feels like this has been rehearsed. It feels set up. The whole beauty of movies, I feel like, is that something completely planned happens, but you feel like it's not planned. This movie doesn't tackle that perfectly. One of the major issues probably is the fact that there are about 9 directors working on this movie, including the lead actress. So you have people putting out totally different visions and styles, and it feels jumpy and jerky at times, because some transition very well while others just don't feel right at all. And the concept behind this is really great, but all the execution isn't flawless. I also couldn't help but watch this and think it reminded me a little bit of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Just some, and like maybe there's some inspiration taken from that. The movie basically follows Jane, without any spoilers in here, discovering different sides to herself as she's on this road trip, and she runs into herself, and things get crazy, and she meets a guy, and it's a lot of just side quests, I guess you could say, that just start taking place. It's really, really deep. And the thing is, like I said earlier, while it's hard to follow, that can be a good thing at times in here. In here, I feel like the fact the audience's hand isn't held the entire time, it's really good. And I like the fact it leaves a lot to ambiguity, and it's just kind of letting you watch and enjoy. Other times, it's just straight up confusing, and it makes no sense, and we're never given a proper explanation, so things feel kind of weird. Sometimes, another issue is almost the opposite, that too much is explained. Because in a movie like this, you need to find that balance. This movie struggles with that a little bit. This movie's clearly not like something that's a massive film, but I can really genuinely see the effort in it. And there are parts of this movie I was watching and was truly enjoying and saying to myself, that's great. While other parts, I was kind of just, felt like I was watching a movie. It's an okay movie, all in all. There's a lot of hard work put into this, and there's a clear effort to make it smart and entertaining. There are some very funny comedic moments in here, and I think the characters are a strong point throughout the movie, despite the fact so much can jar back and forth. Those characters really are what drives the plot forward. And it kind of feels like something someone could dream up, which is another reason it feels kind of relatable, and I like it. It works to a certain level. So for me, this movie's a bit of a mixed bag, but I had some enjoyment out of it. I would say if you're into this, go check it out. If you're not into a lot of work and focus, and maybe something that's going to do a little more, pass on it. It's not a massive deal. It was pretty good, and I had a fairly good time with it. I'm going to give The Many Faces of Jane a 5 out of 10. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you all next time.